Bella, assume your throne. Go for it. All right. Quick Reminders, the series where I watch heady videos so you don't have to. With the cutest Kara joining us again. And Bella maybe swooping in as well. Let's see. Alright, so I'm going to rapid fire these ones. I got 4 that I just came across. These are videos from TikTok that are now saved to my Quick Reminders playlist. What do they call it? Is it collections?
Mm-hmm.
They call it collections. My Quick Reminders collection. So the first one is from At the Mental Level. He was doing a little exercise, starting it out with the question, or the statement rather, that you are not your thoughts. And it's like, okay, yeah, we've all heard that a million times, but what does that really mean? And he just sort of walked us through this, little momentary guide of noticing our thoughts. So the idea or the experience is that our thoughts can't experience themselves.
That there's an awareness. Witnessing the thoughts.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, you have a thought, but the thought can't exist without the kind of underrated witness, or like you said, the awareness of the thought.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a thought, we notice that thought, then we have more thoughts about the thought, but the whole time we're witnessing the whole process, right? It's kind of a trippy thing to talk about without sort of experiencing that experiment. Like there's the Bella and there's the sound that the Bella makes, and then there's the hearing the Bella in my body. My ears are hearing her. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, oh, Bella, you're taking up so much airtime. And then there's the witness to the thought, you know. So anyway, it's, you know, it goes on forever. That's the exercise. And the reminder that we aren't our thoughts. And so often I'm identified with my thoughts for sure.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And we just sort of take thoughts as they come up as with a level of truth that is really not as objective as we may be habituated to take it as.
They just bit me.
Right. So,
mm-hmm.
Take yourself a little less seriously, take thoughts a little less seriously,
mm-hmm.
Melt into that witnessing awareness. It's pretty much the gist of that one. So then we have, this one is pretty cool. I think you'll like this. Josh at Josh Shuahel? 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 I don't know how you would pronounce that. I'm going to go with Shuahel. He was talking about how, you know, the folds in the brain, the little wrinkly.
The little brain wrinkles?
Yeah, brain wrinkles. That at night when we sleep, the brain expands and those wrinkles sort of smooth out.
Really?
Temporarily. And your spinal...
Is that factual?
I mean, who knows? I didn't break open a skull and check it out or anything. I have no measurements at my disposal other than randos on the internet. Uh-huh. But yeah, fact check me for sure.
Wow.
But that's what he was saying.
Interesting.
So anyway, that was the first bit of the story. The second bit is it expands. So we're sleeping. The brain expands and fills with spinal fluid, and essentially we give our brains a wash.
I mean, that sounds great. I'd love to give my brain a wash.
Well, I think that's what we do when we sleep and we dream. I mean, probably dependent on how deeply we sleep, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like maybe the process only happens at a certain level of depth in the sleeping and resting process. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the idea is that every night when we sleep, that the brain does a process of washing out the waste. And that sort of does explain like some of the weirder dreams that we have that are sort of just nonsensical or just you know what I mean?
Yeah,
when
or just like random things that had shown up throughout the day or something, that like processing of it.
exactly, or just like super random characters, people you haven't seen in years or whatnot, and maybe something in life has like maybe reminded you of their energy, and it's just that's the way that like we're consciously processing, which is to say like the way the ego is sort of, I want to say like metabolizing, the way we're sort of like metabolizing that energy is through these like weird random type of dreams. Maybe that's just the subconsciousness sort of washing out the waste. And who's to say, like, how does the brain tell what's waste and what's worth remembering, right?
Yeah.
That's a mystery to me.
It is.
That's a subjective, from where I'm standing, that feels subjective. How do you know what's important enough to remember, to bake into your memory versus wash it out in your dreams? You know what I mean? Who knows?
Well, I will say that feels resonant. Just 'cause, like, remember I came home the other day and I was talking about how at work we were playing Would You Rather, and when we did the Would You Rather take your brain out and put it into a ice bath, or like, take your spine out and give it a good
Twist.
Good wringing out. Because we were talking about like having headaches, and like you have a headache and somebody's like, oh, did you drink enough water? I always like imagine like if I haven't drank enough water and I have a headache and I take a drink of water and then my brain just like starts to unprune, sort
like
of thing.
Like a sponge just absorbing
starts
hydration.
to absorb the water. But yeah, that, like when you have a headache, that it does feel like, oh, I just wish I could take my head out and put it in some nice water. So when you sleep, that kind of helps get rid of a headache. Some like migraines and stuff. Sleep is really like the only thing that will help it go away.
Yeah. I guess sleep is that natural process of detaching ourselves from consensus reality, or disassociating from ourselves, from the ego, at least. On the conversation with Lucas and Steven, Lucas had a pretty interesting breakdown of his definitions of self versus ego, which I thought was pretty interesting. It sort of stuck with me. He was speaking in terms of the ego being the mind and the psyche. I mean, two words for the same thing, but you know what I'm saying. The mental space as well as like our psychological programming. It was just a fly. It went away.
Oh, okay.
And the self being the body. And trying to remember if he used another word, but yeah. Oh, spirit. Body and spirit.
Body and spirit synonymously?
That's how he would define the word self.
Oh.
It's like your body and your spirit.
Okay.
The body, the spirit. And I like that because to me, body isn't just the physical body.
Yeah.
Like the yogis see like the 7 bodies.
Right.
The physical being just one of them.
That makes sense.
One of them being the body that we dream with, right? Our dream body, our astral body, emotional body, mental body. I don't have the system totally memorized, but I do sort of vibe with that idea of there being these different dimensions of our self. Anyway, why did I go into that?
Sleep, brain.
Oh yeah, you were talking about ice bath for your brain being like a little bit of a unplugging is the way I was sort of visualizing that. Like literally like unplugging your brain from your spine. And I'm just thinking of like headaches feeling like such a constricted vibe. Like you put your mental or your mental space or your brain in like in a chokehold, really. Like, I don't know if it's like correlated to being like overly rigid about something.
A headache?
You know what I mean? Like the the somatic representation of that physical experience, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How there's got to be some sort of like metaphysical bridge between our experiences and our ailments, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just think of headaches as being like being almost overly, I'm just thinking rigidity, the constriction, you know?
Yeah, I could see that.
And so it just makes me think of how detaching from our stories can be so helpful.
Right.
You know? I mean, they're talking about like ketamine being depression medicine, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, like the clinic that... Did it open already in Anderson? You were telling me about?
I think so.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, something to look into. Because you were saying that it's like for treatment resistant
Right. Depression
cases. Who knows how they verify or define treatment resistance.
Mm-hmm.
But it just makes me think of why that might be medicine for people that have been in, like, I think of depression as just stagnation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or overwhelm, overstimulation that leads to shutting down the sensory sensitivity, right? Depressing our senses out of a survival need, basically.
Right.
Right? And how things like ketamine being like essentially tranquilizers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Tranquilling. We'll go ahead and turn that into a verb. Tranquilling the body.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't really had this experience, but I've heard of, higher dose experiences of feeling like total disassociation and like almost like your brain stem like detaching from the physical experience and stuff like that. And I don't know, just saying that, like, I feel like certain people, or how do you feel like does that sound like a fun or healthy or medicinal experience to you, or what does that sound like to you?
What, detaching, disassociating?
Yeah, just like your brain disassociating from the body, or your brain stem detaching from the spine.
That sounds like almost like a vacation, you know? You know, when you're so preoccupied with your experience.
Right.
And
that's what I'm kind of getting at. I was kind of expecting you to say the opposite, that it sounded like more scary. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think, I'll speak for myself, but I tend to naturally dissociate. And so I think that that's something that we all do naturally, that there's a need for it, and to have a safe place to disassociate and like a safe time to like take a break from the stupid shit going on in our brains that we can't control.
Well, the stupid shit going on in reality that we can't control, you
Yeah.
know? And that's why I was coming from that perspective, that like sleep is sort of that natural disassociation.
Yeah.
You know? Literally putting your life on pause.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Like turning off a video game and turning it back on in the morning, you know?
I love to sleep. It's my favorite part of the day.
Well, it's literally restful.
Yeah.
It's physiologically necessary.
Yeah.
Vital for
We'll die if we don't sleep.
Yeah. We will go to permanent sleep if we don't rest.
Yeah.
Our bodies and rest our...
Or we'll literally lose our minds.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, yeah, could be one and the same. But, yeah, anyway, just a little train of thought on that one.
Yeah.
So anyway, he was actually giving a little bit of a takeaway action step on that one. He was saying that anytime he reminds himself of that fact that your brain is going to do a little waste washing session when you sleep, as you're falling asleep, reminding yourself of that, thinking about that, he said that's led to some of his most restful sleep.
So being consciously aware that...
Of that process as you're going to sleep.
Okay.
You know? Just like, all right.
That's something to
getting
try
in
for
bed,
sure, yeah.
You're starting to, about to be drifting off, just kind of reminding yourself, all right, I'm getting ready for my little brain dump, my little brainwashing,
Yeah.
literal brainwashing in a positive reset kind of way.
I feel like that would be really helpful, like in conjunction with like a physical brain dump as well. Like,
It's a physical brain dump.
Like writing down your thoughts, like getting all your thoughts out before you just like, I mean, I don't know if you really deal with this, but I know a lot of people, you try to fall asleep and then you start thinking about the whole, like everything that happened that day, all the things you didn't do, all the things that you need to do tomorrow, what's coming up, that preoccupies you before going to sleep. And it can either lead to stress dreams or just not being able to fall asleep. So like if you do like that physical brain dump of a journaling and then
almost as an affirmation while you're falling asleep, just like second yourself up for that level of reset and rejuvenation and all that good stuff. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I've heard of doing those types of journaling brain dumps more like in the morning as a part of a morning routine. But yeah, I mean, if there's active stress in your day, then probably doing it at night would be, pick your approach.
Yeah,
whatever's going to be best.
I've heard that like your creativity is more apt in the morning. Like when you wake up, like people's creativity is more online, like first thing in the morning, and then like as you go throughout the day, it's more of like a business as usual sort of thing. Like,
is that facts?
I don't know that it's facts.
I don't think so.
But
yeah, I think it's personal. That could be true for you, but I think it's maybe the opposite for me.
Yeah, you are kind of like a night owl.
I feel more energy at night. Mm-hmm. I feel more creative at night for whatever reason. I wish I was the opposite. And is that like a internalized capitalism thing or something? But I do have this like virtue ideal in my head of the ideal me, the virtuous me being more of an early bird, get up with the sun.
Yeah.
And just being more in tune with the sun in that way. And I'm not saying that isn't an option for me. You know what I mean? It's just that lately and for a long time I have been more in this mode that like I wake up and basically need my dopamine and just am more in a crashed sort of vibe, which is unfortunate to experience and vaguely embarrassing to admit.
What about when you were a kid? Were you like an early riser as a kid or like a sleeper?
No, I think I've kind of always been like this.
Really?
Like having to get up for school was painful.
Yeah.
And I would spend like all of the morning basically being half asleep, and then it was like lunchtime was like, all right, nice, recess, okay, I'm cool. And then it's just like ready to go home. Yeah.
And then at night, did you like fight bedtime or?
Like probably. I don't have too many vivid memories of, and I'm sure there was definitely days that I fought bedtime. But I can't necessarily speak on my energy levels, you know
right.
what I mean?
I don't think I ever fought bedtime.
Really?
That I mean, I'm sure my parents can think of some times that I did, but I don't remember ever having a problem with going to bed.
Yeah, that definitely, it surprises me just on the level of like, I feel like any normal kid would do that.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure there was probably times like, that I'm like, oh, I don't want to stop playing, or like, I had that more with mealtime, like not wanting to go eat dinner or something.
When did meals become more of something you looked forward to?
I don't know. Probably when like my plates and my amount of food wasn't dictated by my parents. Like when I could make my own plates, or like I could like choose dinners, or like I started liking food more.
That's kind of just what I'm sort of reflecting on, is like, yeah, as a kid, food was like an obligation. Like it felt like a chore, like something I did not want to do.
Same. And I can remember like just getting so bored eating. Like I don't want to just sit here and keep eating. I'm done eating. But, you know, you have to finish your plate.
Yeah. Bored isn't a word I necessarily relate to on that subject, but I know what you mean. Like I definitely was like, for me, it was more like an aversion to certain types of food, or like if I was a very picky eater as a small child, and then I feel like I grew out of that pretty quick by like, I don't know, 4th, 5th grade, something like that, early junior high type of age. But yeah, it was like if it got cold, or if it looked too saucy, looked too weird. Like literally I would judge food based on how it looked and would just have this aversion. Yeah. And it's really weird. It's really kind of funny to reflect on, because obviously food is such a big like part of my dopamine like routine these days, or these years, or these decades, or whatnot, you know? So as an adult, that's like, I feel like one of our like main pleasures is eating. Totally. Which is kind of nutty, you know? I mean, it's not. I mean, you can obviously see why evolutionarily we would, you know, obviously evolve to associate pleasure with finding things that are life enriching. Right. But I feel like socially, or more like societally, I know that's not a word, but like the societal approach to food has just become an industry, and there's so much into that. It's almost a boring conversation because it's been covered so much, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Just the idea of like 3 meals a day and like starting your day with food, like that's so relatively new and so capitalistic, you know what I mean? Yeah, and now as an adult, it's so exhausting. You know, now just thinking about feeding myself 3 times a day for the rest of my life. Like, really? 3 times a day, every single day, forever, until I die? I have to think about what I'm going to eat. Yeah. That's not really how I relate to it. For me, it's like, I'm more stressed by that I can't just eat for the entire day. Because for me, it's like chain smoking cigarettes. Like, I just like to eat. Yeah. You know? And it's a distraction. It's a distraction from my feelings, and a distraction from what? Nothing. I just think I'm doing fine. Everything's fine. You good? Yep, good. Keep on going. Anyway, whatever. I don't need to harp on my personal problems again on this freaking podcast. I think it's relatable. I think a lot of people struggle with overeating and stuff like that. And, you know, I've just put so much thought and so much energy and so much like pain and suffering into the subject, and you know, I've tried to just like eat healthy food as a way of combating the compulsion. Yeah. And I obviously feel mostly good about that. Like I think we do eat a lot of life enriching food. We could do better. I mean, but we're trying right now. I know I'm sitting here watching you labor in our garden pursuits here, but you know, you're making efforts to get more. Oh my gosh! Oh God, that scared the shit out of me. How it must have been in there the entire time, right? That's what I thought you were freaking out about a minute ago. I thought you like saw something or felt something. No, I didn't. Oh, that's so funny. Then what were you thinking? That you're putting it in too shallow, or what? No, I think I'm putting too many seedlings in here. Oh, yeah. And I'm wondering if I should thin them out, but I kind of like want to see how they're going to do in the pot before I thin them out. What are they? Tomatoes. It should be fine. Yeah, that guy was just hopped out. Yeah, wow. He saw his chance and he took off. If the camera didn't pick that up, there was a lizard that just jumped out of this pot that I just had my hands all up in. What are those little guys called? The blue-tailed... are they salamanders? Minks or something. Okay. Lucas called it a salamander the other day, and I'm like, I don't think that's what those are. I feel like salamanders are smaller, but who knows?
Because they do get pretty big.
I saw a humongous one the other
Really?
day. I might crop in I took a little video of it.
Oh, did you? Where'd you see
I'll
it?
put it in the episode. Just on the porch.
Oh, wow.
But it was the biggest one I've ever seen.
Really?
It was a monster.
Yeah, and when they get older, they lose that blue tail.
Oh, okay. So it is the same
It's the
species,
same one, but yeah, it's
breed
the
or whatever.
babies have the...
Like, I'm talking like its head and body are about that thick.
Oh, God. That's a big one. I know they like to
That's
hang out
huge.
on that front wall there
Yeah.
because it's so hot.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's something we can try. It's doing brain dumps and affirmations before you fall asleep to give us some extra
Yeah.
encouragement to get that deep, restful, rejuvenating, washing sleep. Moving on. So on that topic, at Kyrelli's Spirit, I'll put everyone's handle in the description in case anyone wants to look these people up. So this guy's talking about reprogramming the subconscious mind by listening to affirmations while falling asleep. So again, as has happened every time we've done a quick reminders, it's really funny how there's a common thread in all of the ones that I kind of randomly pick. So yeah, that's something I've thought about before, but he was just talking about, when you're falling asleep, your brain is descending from, I think, beta. Are you familiar with like the brainwave breakdown?
Not really.
No? So there's gamma waves, which is like your really high, like basically awakening, enlightenment type of vibe, or like being on psychedelics type of wavelength. It's called gamma waves. And then your normal waking consciousness is beta. And then as you are falling asleep, I think you go through theta and then into delta. I think delta is the deep sleep. So it's basically just the frequency and the vibration of your brain activity. So I went from high to low, right? So that's slower. You with me? Like slower, bigger waves,
Gotcha.
unconscious, deep delta waves. And then like your astral body, dream, sleep, consciousness, and then your waking life, and then you're tripping. You're tripping.
That's when the dreams start?
No, I was going backwards that time. So dream starts in theta.
Oh, okay.
And so when you're in like the hypnagogic state going into dream, that's a more potent, auspicious moment for setting intentions. This guy was literally recommending like recording affirmations, whatever that may be.
Oh, your own voice doing
Yeah.
affirmations. I thought maybe like a
I mean,
like a video
you could do
or
whatever.
something.
In fact, this even gave me the idea of like creating a guided meditation episode to just like listen to as you're falling asleep.
Oh,
Just
I love
like,
that.
you
I
know.
do that all the time.
Are they affirmations?
Not
No,
affirmations,
you listen to
but
like
I
little
do.
stories that put
Well,
you
I
to
do
sleep,
stories, but I also do meditations, like sleep meditations.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we've done that together before.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, it's a good idea. It almost feels a little campy, but no reason to knock it until I try it.
Yeah.
It's another.
It helps me fall asleep
Not to.
fast.
Yeah, well, I don't really struggle too much with that, but I guess
Yeah.
maybe I would if I actually tried going to sleep
Yeah.
rather than just passing out every night.
Is it in my hair?
I thought it might have been because
No,
I didn't
it's
see it
over
fly
there.
away, but it
Yeah.
just did. Yeah, the bugs are definitely out.
Yeah.
We need to do our bug repellent
Yeah.
recipe. You want to
Definitely.
go ahead and share the recipe with the fine folks at home?
I don't really remember.
It's stale beer,
Oh yeah, you open up a PBR
specifically.
and let it
PBR.
get stale.
Could be any cheap beer or whatever.
Mouthwash and Epsom salts.
Okay, I was telling Steven about it and I forgot about that.
Yeah, the Epsom salts. You let
Yeah.
that dissolve.
Marinate for like
yeah.
24 hours or something, and then just spray
It doesn't have to be like 24 hours. You just want
Well,
the
you need
salt to
stale beer.
dissolve. Yeah, you do want the beer to be open
So
for
cheap
about
stale
24
beer,
hours.
cheap mouthwash, Epsom salt.
Yeah.
And then just spray it in areas that.
Like that you sit in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just wherever you're gonna.
Yeah,
Be.
I mean, I guess you could put it in. I feel like if you put it in the grass, it would just like
Yeah, just
get
absorb.
into,
and
yeah,
not really
absorb and not really
go.
do anything. But you want it on, and you probably want to
Chairs, patio, whatever,
Yeah.
keeps the mosquitoes away.
Yeah, I also have heard
Or it
about
at least helps.
Irish spring soap or spring Irish soap or whatever. That apparently bugs hate the smell of that. Like if you like just like, I saw people at Sage Valley doing it too, like rubbing the soap on themselves
okay.
and like just like around like
I like the
flies and
smell of
stuff. Hate that smell.
Yeah, I like the Irish spring
Like
smell.
you can do it like outside your doors and stuff so that the bugs don't
Okay.
come inside.
Well, cool. We'll try that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really cool idea. We should definitely put that one into practice. Funny you mention Ireland. The final one is at Ben Spalos.
Ben Sploss.
Spa Loss. Ben Spa Loss. This guy is talking about a study that was done in Ireland. That basically the gist of it was the researchers had a group of people walk around a room while telling themselves, while having the thought, I cannot walk around a room.
Huh.
So the cognitive dissonance of you're doing something but you're thinking that you can't do it. And then he had a group of people that did that, a group of people that did not, and both groups did a pain test, a pain tolerance test. You know, I don't know what it was, like putting your hand over a flame or something like that. And the people that did do that activity had a much higher pain tolerance.
Their pain tolerance was higher if they walked around the room while thinking, I cannot walk around this room. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so the whole thing is about, again, don't believe your thoughts.
Yeah.
And that when you want to do something or don't want to do something and you're thinking a thought, affirming that, go ahead and think that thought and then do the opposite.
Yeah.
To train yourself to have that tolerance, to have that resilience, to be able to like begin to be the director of our story rather than just the enslaved actor that's enslaved to this role or this program. Like we can be the actor and the director of our story.
Yeah.
We don't have to believe the scripts that are already running. We can begin to improvise and create space between our thoughts and our actions.
Yeah. Well, that totally resonates because, I think of all the times, in high school when I did track and cross country, I'll be running. I'm like, oh, I cannot do this. I can't do this. I need to stop. I have to stop. I can't do this. And then you just keep going.
Yeah.
And that just your thoughts, and you're like, oh shit, I can do this. Yeah. And then you finish and you're like, oh, I feel great.
Right.
Yeah. And
right.
I think of being a woman and having a monthly pain and waking up in the morning like, oh, I can't do this. I can't get through this day. I can't go to work today. I can't walk around like this all day. And then we do it.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hilarious you gave that first example because that was one of the examples he said that he cited. Is one of the common examples is people doing that type of, he mentioned running, but any extraneous,
extraneous? Yeah.
Activity.
Yeah.
It's of course you don't want to do it. It's not pleasurable. It's not comfortable.
Yeah.
But you push past a certain threshold and then it actually does become pleasurable. The endorphins kick in, the runner's high, whatever.
Yeah, and you just watch your body do these crazy things and you're like, wow, I did not think I could do that.
Yeah.
I thought that I was going to die.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, you can learn that you don't have to listen to your brain all the time. You don't have to listen to your thoughts. That if you just keep your body moving, you're good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And more related to your second example, being depressed and just not wanting to get out of bed. I can't do this. I can't get out of bed. I can't, do a basic task. Find out, just do it.
Maybe
just
you can,
anyway.
Yeah.
So, it sort of brings up I don't know, the push and pull between wanting to be easy and allowing with ourselves, to be gentle with ourselves versus, I'll put it this way, to have more of a masculine or feminine approach to almost parenting. You know what I mean? But parenting yourself, like
Yeah.
your self accountable, your self discipline type of thing, you know, like, and I tend to want to be more gentle with myself, but I realize like there's a time and place for that. And it's funny
Yeah.
because I'm very, as Lucas pointed out in the podcast, you know, when he and Steven were on, it's like, he was like, dude, I'm hearing a lot of like that you're really harsh on yourself, or you're really hard on yourself, you know?
You are.
So it's funny that there's like that level of being really hard on myself and then also being like overly easy on myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the extremes.
Yeah. Reel it in, buddy.
Yeah. No, I feel like that too. I feel like there's times where I'm really hard on myself, and there's some times that I just like let myself get away with all kinds of shit.
It's almost like I'm physically easy on myself and mentally hard on myself, which
Yeah.
is an insane combination.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they feed into each other, really.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if I'm so mentally hard on myself, I'm going to be physically exhausted and not want to do the things.
Yeah.
you
Right.
know?
Right. You're exhausting yourself before you even start
Yeah.
the thing.
And if I'm not doing anything, I'm
Yeah.
going to be mentally frustrated about it.
Right.
You know? So it's a negative feedback loop.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you know, maybe that's the topic that I could do some affirmations on and just
that's
try
a
to
good idea.
reprogram that
Yeah.
nonsense. You know, what would you feel inclined to affirm?
It's a good question.
I mean,
nothing
even
like-
just to start. I mean, not to. I want you to
Yeah,
answer
go
that
ahead.
question, but
Yeah.
even just to start, like the easy mode for doing that is just combining two of those prompts. You know, doing your affirmation as I'm getting restful sleep.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a brainwash.
Yeah,
a
right,
brain
right.
cleansing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. That sounds good.
subconscious shower,
Right.
brain bath.
Yeah. Right. I am getting this restful sleep and to be capable of doing the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, just to
simple as
support
that.
myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Simple as that. Cool.
Yeah. Well, do we have any last thoughts before we completely lose
Yeah,
light
it's
here?
getting dark. It's getting dark. Camera probably already lost us.
Yeah.
No, I think that's pretty good.
Okay.
I think that's the main takeaway is doing that particular activity.
Yeah. Cool. Action step.
Sweet. Did you have anything you want to highlight?
Feeling pretty good.
Cool. Love you.
Love you, baby.
Oh, you wanted to do that.
Wiggity, 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 wiggity.